Well, hey there. Completely unexpected. Did not expect for this to happen at all. I can't believe we're in the same place. The same place as before. As you can see, I've done a whole lot with the place, meaning absolutely nothing. No, behind you can't see it, but behind you, there's a whole shelf that I put up that's holding all of my almost dead succulents right now. Wow, it's been a minute, hasn't it? Whew, it's been a time. It's been a long time since I put out anything. Maybe even like close to 2 months, which in LA time is like 5 months. It's a long story, but that's why I'm making this video. I'm making this video to tell you that I'm back, that I am better than I was before, meaning a number of different things. I feel like almost like a different person making this video right now, thinking back to the time before in a good way. Not that I wasn't a certain way before, but honestly, a lot of stuff has happened since we last spoke, since we last communicated through the internet. Where to begin? Oh, long story short, there was a combination of a lot of different things that honestly led me to really almost inadvertently at first stepping away from all social media for a little period of time, I guess for the last 2 months. And honestly, it was a mental health move. Now, I didn't really like wake up one day and say like, hey, I'm not gonna post anything for 2 months because of all these things that happened in succession, all kind of at the same time. It kind of just added up to my focus having to really be pulled away from social media and all of these other things to really focus on this stuff that was going down in life. Feel like I honestly wish I would have documented the process and just like posted about the things that were happening, because it was hard stuff. But honestly, I was almost in like survival mode because of these things that were happening. I had to really take a step back and ask myself where my priorities were, and I had to put my priorities with these other things if I wanted to, in a way, if I wanted to really stay in Los Angeles and give LA all that I had. But okay, so really, like, you know, the question is like, okay, Cam, well, what happened? Like, what's been going on? If you're interested, if you're not, I'm not offended. Of course, I understand if you're not interested in every aspect of my life, which is totally fine. Honestly, I care about a lot of people who are watching this video, who might be watching this video though, and I wanted to put this out there just as an update that yes, I'm alive, stuff went down, stuff has been taken care of, and now, boom, I'm back in action in a different way. I'll explain what that means. But basically, so there was a number of different things that was going on. A lot of you know that I'm here working on a number of businesses, and 2 of those businesses at the time that I kind of started dropping off of content, 2 of those businesses ended up not working out, which is totally fine. Of course, like, again, processed through that, taking care of that in a way, not 100% completely, but for the most part, those have been taken care of, meaning that they don't exist anymore. Again, that's totally fine. But I really had to step away and take care of those. Another thing that was going on, just in the social media, eating disorder space, is I started getting a lot of messages, a lot of DMs. Try to get back to everyone as soon as I could, but around 2 months ago, I started getting a number of people who were messaging me pretty aggressively in a negative way, that honestly said a number of things that really, it was really hurtful. It was really hurtful for me to read. And I usually take stuff personally, and again, since then I've processed through a lot of these different things and how to approach this in a better way for me. But I started getting messages that were just like, oh man, you're a fake, and you won't get back, you probably won't get back to me, you're a fake, you're not getting back to anyone, any of these messages. Basically, people who were really upset that I wasn't getting back to them about their questions about eating disorders, and because I couldn't get back to them quickly, like within a day or so, these people were responding in a really negative way. And a lot of those negative messages, I didn't get a ton, but I got a handful, enough like all at one time again. Honestly, like it pushed me back a little bit, and it made me kind of step back, and in kind of a hurt way. Like I was kind of hurt by that. And of course I know that that's not everyone who's watching this. But I really had to take a step back and ask myself if like pushing through kind of these negative, almost hateful messages is what I wanted to do. And ultimately the answer is yes, of course, because I care about this stuff too much. But all those messages, those negative messages that were adding up, was really weighing on me. And I needed to take a step back to process through those messages that were coming in, how to maybe handle things a little bit differently now, but also really how to make sure that I'm establishing a solid base of mental health and just health in general for myself, tackling the issue of mental health and eating disorders and all of those things. I really wanted to make sure, just baseline, that I was okay. And I found that these negative messages that were coming in through Instagram specifically were like affecting me in a pretty negative way. And so that was honestly one of the biggest reasons why I took a step back, because I honestly didn't expect to like encounter things like that or encounter messages like that. And it affected me more than I thought it would, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying this to say like, don't send those messages, even though that would be great to not receive messages like negative messages like that. But of course I understand and know that, like, you know, I'm not going to be able to control the messages that come in. Like, I can only control how I respond to those messages. And I can just try my best to put out a message of love, peace and love, you know, rather than hate or negativity. Those negative messages affected me a lot, kind of started to put me in a little bit of a rough spot, which is, again, partially why I stepped back. Again, in the middle of all this, I never, like, woke up and said, like, I'm not going to post a video for 2 months, or, like, I'm not going to post on Instagram for a long, long time. My focus just had to shift mostly into kind of these other areas of my life, like self-preservation and also work specifically, to really focus on making sure that I'm establishing a solid base. Like, I feel like I have a sense of stability in those areas of my life. And honestly, I can confidently say that I do have some more stability, not complete stability, because I know I recognize that, like, things change, but I have more stability and more confidence than I had before, just in these areas of my life. And honestly, a lot's happened since we last spoke. I've been traveling, doing content for another company that I'm associated with. I went to Indianapolis and Vancouver. Vancouver was incredible. I feel like during these past couple months, there's been a lot that, just being completely honest, I feel like a pretty different person now. Partially because of, like, the fire and flames that I went through with all the work stuff that honestly, like, had me adjust to life in a completely different way, but also through kind of what I did to really try and find myself a little bit more, which I'm going to make content of, because I didn't record the process, because honestly the past 2 months have really been internal, like a lot of internalization, a lot of healthy internalization, and I've come out the other side feeling honestly like a different person. I'm excited to share kind of what I've been doing with you, which is kind of how I really want to take the next step of just everything here, because I've also, it's not like I haven't been thinking about the videos or posting content or everything, because I definitely have over the past 2 months. But I've really tried to think about how I want to do this and how I want to do social media, because also towards the end of, like, the last period of time where I was posting content and videos, I found myself getting lost too much in the numbers and the obsession over making sure everything was, like, right. And I found it really difficult to be making content, because, you know, there's a ton of pressure to, like, make consistent content and to make the right content. And I found myself kind of obsessing too much, or questioning whether I was obsessing over that too much towards the end in the wrong way. And so during the past 2 months specifically, I've really spent this time really developing myself internally. Again, I'm going to share how I did that. But also kind of asking myself where I wanted to take this and how I could just make this as me as possible. And I think that has been part of the challenging aspect of the last 2 months, has been really me trying to find myself in a different way than I haven't before. Because I'm a young adult, I graduated college not too long ago, and so I'm still learning this whole process of adjusting to, like, the adult world, and it's pretty brutal, to be honest, in a number of different ways. But it's also pretty incredible in a number of different ways. And one of those ways is with the freedom that's living in the adult world, the freedom that it gives you. And the freedom that it gave me over the last 2 months has honestly been incredibly helpful and partially life-changing. I've done a number of different things, tested out a number of different things, activities, activities. Sounds like I'm like playing a sport or something. I've honestly just played around with a number of different methods and things to try and really dig deeper, even deeper into myself. I never want to think that I have it all figured out. And I felt like the content that I was posting purely about eating disorders, well, I feel like that definitely is a part of me, but there is a part of me that wanted to do so much more. And the end conclusion still is that I have no idea what I'm doing, which is totally fine. But then I have an idea, a general idea of the direction that I want to go in with something like this. And honestly, a part of that, like, I think you'll see that, or I hope you'll see that some of the content is going to change this next little bit. And I am pumped about that. And there's a number of things that I really want to do that I want to share with you. And part of that is still overcoming eating disorders, anorexia. And part of that is jumping into mental health specifically. So everything that I put out on my channel so far, like I think literally every video just about is or has been about eating disorders, overcoming eating disorders. And that will still remain a core piece of this channel. There's this other side of me documenting the process of me trying to figure myself out, and me trying to dive into positive mental health, mental happiness, that I really want to do, that I really want to record, but also that the idea of pursuing mental happiness at its core is what I want to do in life. And so essentially kind of what I'm trying to say is that I really plan on changing things up a little bit with content-wise on videos, but also on Instagram. I am actually really pumped about it. Like, I feel really good about the direction that I want to take things in my mind, while also still carrying the core piece of overcoming anorexia and eating disorders, my story involved with that, but also pursuing what I'm pursuing now and recording that process. What does that look like? What exactly does that look like? Well, you're gonna have to find out. You're gonna have to wait and see what I'm gonna do. All that stuff being said, wanted to make this video, let you know that I'm here, I'm back, I'm okay, I'm alive, and that I will be posting content. Don't exactly know when, because again, I want this to be as beneficial for you as it is for me, as healthy for you as it is for me. I've come out on the other side of these past 2 months honestly feeling really good about myself, about the world, about where everything is going, and just about what I want to do with this, and hoping honestly to continue building a relationship with all of you in a really good and positive way. So honestly, I'm gonna catch up with a lot of people on Instagram, again, because there are a number of you that really I so appreciate. I just want to say I appreciate all of you, and if you're watching this and you've been watching my stuff from before, just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. A lot of you have, honestly, like, one of the biggest things that I've missed over the past 2 months is communicating with you. I love communicating with you all so much, and of course, like, there were those negative messages that I got from before, but I 100% know and understand and get that that's not everyone who's watching. Like, that'd be ridiculous. No, a majority of you are incredibly supportive of me and just what I'm doing and what this is about, and I just want to say thank you so much. And I want to say thank you so much for sticking with me. If you're still sticking with me after 2 months of complete silence, I know maybe that's not a normal thing to do on YouTube, but again, I really feel like I needed this past time to catch up with myself and to figure out what I want to do with my life, and also how to get a grip on what's going on and what has been going on in my life. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this and for impacting my life positively. I'm excited to show you what's coming up and what's next. I think that's it. Of course, there's so much that I want to say and so much that I want to show you, but that will come in future videos, you know? Yeah, I'm pumped to start recording stuff again, start posting stuff again, and to just be me as I possibly can. So yeah, thank you all so much for just being you. Thank you for just being yourself, all right? I'm happy, glad to be back on the internet, I guess, all right? See y'all soon. Thanks so much.